For years, the world looked to Jack Ma as the symbol of China's tech rise. But when he disappeared from public view, another reality became clear. China's other tech billionaires are playing a much bigger game. They are no longer focused only on e-commerce or real estate. Instead, they are building empires powered by artificial intelligence and big data. With 1.4 billion people and an unmatched supply of information, China holds an advantage every other nation must take seriously. This is no longer just the story of one company or one eccentric founder. It is a global shift in technological power. And the central question for the years ahead is this: as Chinese billionaires deploy AI and data as their primary strategic tools, can American billionaires truly maintain their leadership? In the global technology landscape, the United States has long been viewed as the hub of innovation. Silicon Valley became the birthplace of iconic figures like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg, whose companies defined the digital era. But across the Pacific, China's billionaires are emerging as equally determined players. Their approach is different. They leverage AI and big data not just to grow businesses, but to reshape entire sectors of society. Robin Li, the co-founder of Baidu, has transformed the company into China's leading AI research hub, especially in autonomous driving and natural language processing. Colin Huang, founder of Pinduoduo, has built an e-commerce giant driven entirely by algorithmic recommendations based on consumer behavior. Zheng Yukun, chairman of Cattle, supplies batteries for millions of electric vehicles and collects massive data sets on energy use and mobility. Zhou Hongyi, behind Qihoo 360, focuses on cybersecurity, where the protection and control of data is the lifeblood of success. What unites these billionaires is their ability to harness China's massive population as a training ground for AI models. This provides a scale advantage few other countries can match. For the United States, the problem is clear. While Silicon Valley emphasizes global expansion and consumer-friendly innovation, Chinese companies prioritize extracting, controlling, and optimizing domestic data first. This difference could create a widening technological gap, forcing U.S. billionaires to confront competition on a new level. To understand why American billionaires are paying close attention, we need to examine the scale of Chinese investments in AI and big data. Baidu and Robin Li. In 2023, Baidu generated about 18.5 billion US dollars in revenue and nearly 4 billion US dollars in net profit, iCoin. With these resources, Baidu launched a 145 million US dollars venture capital fund to support AI startups built on its ErnieBot large language model, investing.com. Beyond software, Baidu also developed its own AI chip unit, Kunlun, valued at 2 billion US dollars, Caixin Global. These moves show that Baidu is no longer just a search engine, it is building infrastructure for the next generation of AI. Cattle and Zheng Yukun. In 2024, California TL spent over 2.6 billion US dollars on research and development, the company's highest ever bid auto. Over the past decade, its cumulative R&D exceeded 10 billion US dollars, Metal.com. The company also announced a 6 billion US dollars investment to expand lithium-ion battery capacity, CN Tech Post. CATL already supplies Tesla, BMW, and Volkswagen. This creates a dual advantage: global dominance in the EV supply chain and access to large-scale data on energy consumption and mobility patterns. Ant Group. In 2024, Ant Group invested 3.26 billion US dollars in R&D, focusing on financial AI, blockchain, and large-scale data analytics, Reuters. With hundreds of millions of Alipay users, Ant holds one of the world's most valuable consumer and financial datasets. When we compare this to the US, the numbers are even larger in absolute terms. Alphabet spent about 41 billion US dollars on R&D in 2023, Microsoft 27 billion US dollars, and Amazon 73 billion US dollars. Yet the critical difference lies in how freely companies can use data. American firms are constrained by privacy laws like GDPR in Europe and regulatory scrutiny in the US, while Chinese companies operate under a system that allows near unrestricted use of domestic data. The strategic implication is clear. Chinese billionaires combine capital, data, and policy support into a single advantage. American billionaires, meanwhile, must balance innovation with regulation. That is why the competition is not simply about building the best products, it is about who controls the flow of information that fuels the future of AI. If these investment trends continue, China could become the world's largest hub for AI and big data within the next decade. Baidu, with its focus on general AI, Cattle with mobility and energy data, and Ant Group with financial data, could form a closed-loop ecosystem where information flows seamlessly between industries. For the US, this poses a strategic challenge. Amazon, Google, and Microsoft still dominate global cloud infrastructure and remain leaders in AI research. But if China continues to leverage its domestic data to train increasingly powerful models, America risks falling behind in areas such as autonomous driving, fintech, and battery technology. One plausible outcome is technological bifurcation. The US and China building two parallel AI ecosystems with limited interaction. These ecosystems would not only compete for market share, but also for global standards in AI and data governance. For American billionaires, the stakes are personal. Elon Musk's Tesla relies heavily on cattle batteries, creating vulnerabilities in the supply chain. Jeff Bezos must prepare for e-commerce platforms like Pinduoduo, which are data-driven and hyper-efficient. Mark Zuckerberg faces the reality that Meta's data pool, while vast, cannot match China's scale when it comes to training AI for virtual and augmented reality. The future may not be a story of one side's dominance, but of two powerful competing worlds of data and AI. And in that split, the balance of economic and political power could shift dramatically. The race between American and Chinese billionaires in AI and big data is not just about technology. It is a lesson in how we value data. If oil was the black gold of the 20th century, then data is the new fuel of the 21st century. It drives economies, shapes companies, and influences governments. For viewers, the takeaway is simple but profound. Your personal data is not just harmless clicks or online activity. It shapes corporate strategies, market dynamics, and even international policies. Both American and Chinese billionaires recognize this, but they use data in very different ways. The lesson here is to be more aware of privacy and the worth of your own digital footprint. While billionaires use data to compete on a global scale, individuals can also learn to harness data wisely, whether by managing expenses, monitoring health, or building careers. Understanding the value of information empowers us all in a world increasingly defined by algorithms. The race in AI and big data between the United States and China has only just begun. But one thing is already clear: whoever controls data controls the future. Chinese billionaires are demonstrating that they have both the resources and the strategy to challenge Silicon Valley's dominance. This is why we must pay close attention. Understanding how this shift unfolds is not only about watching billionaires compete, it's about preparing for the impact these changes will have on our own lives. If you found this video valuable, please support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Because in the world of data, timely information is the greatest advantage.